In a world where quality business information is needed, we bring you On the Mic with Mike, the leading social enterprise business show in RVA. Join Mike King, the partnership guru, as he delivers game changers in Metro RVA. On the Mic with Mike showcases how business can help make society better. He discusses tech, culture, innovation, best business practices, and highlighting area nonprofits. Join Mike Monday through Friday, because it is the place where the best and brightest come to chat.
Business show in RVA. On the Mic with Mike in RVA.
Yeah, I played that one. I should have bust out a new one. On the Mic with Mike, Mike King here. This is On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program around, coming to you from the Mike King Biz Studio, which is the global epicenter of social enterprise business. ESPN Richmond 106.15 7 a.m. International Business Coach Radio, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern, as well as International Business Coach Radio. That's Saturdays 10 a.m. East, and CW Richmond Wednesday and Friday 5 a.m. You know what day it is? It is Chamber Wednesday. We got El Presidente in the house, and we got the counselor back with us one more time because he's so good. He had to have a return engagement. So Danielle, this is the part of the program. This is the elevator pitch for the world famous Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. So I'm Danielle, president of the Chesterfield Chamber, where we help businesses grow. So if your business is in Chesterfield or you service clients in Chesterfield, there's no better place than to do it and expand your market than with the Chesterfield Chamber.
You have rock star members. I'm just saying that, you know.
You might know one.
I might know one.
You might
yes.
know one.
An award-winning one, if I may say. Plus, we had Noble Fitness was up in here.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
And then now Noble Fitness is up for another award too. Don't ask me. It's a fitness award.
He is.
Health,
But he's up in there.
Something.
Yeah. He's okay.
Yeah. So
All right, so,
I think we level people. We help elevate people up. There's
yes,
what we do.
Yes, you do. And so
we got John here.
We got the counselor. John, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be back.
All right, let's get the elevator pitch for launch.
Yep, I'm John Rabel. I own Launch, which is a law firm that works with small and mid-sized businesses. Typically, we help companies recognize some liabilities they aren't aware of, that put a lot of risk on their company, and act as a strategic partner to help them navigate contracts, employees, regulations, things that they may not have front and center, but can cause them a lot of trouble down the road.
Well, I guess this isn't a legalism, but sooner is better than later.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, it is.
Cheaper, too.
That is true. Explain to the listeners what that means. That if I have a problem today, because a lot of times people are worried about going to the lawyer.
Yeah.
The meters running and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think most business owners think about going to lawyers as a last case scenario. A lot of lawyers are intimidating. The whole process is intimidating, and you're usually in trouble when you show up there.
And they're trying to save money. They think they're trying to save money.
Yeah. You don't want to put any money towards a lawyer if you don't have to. So, they show up when they're already in trouble. It's expensive, time-consuming to get out of. I think, especially for small business owners, there's a way that you can be proactive about a lot of your issues and avoid a lot of trouble. And that's more cost-effective and more time-efficient for them.
So you have a different model.
Yeah.
Okay, explain to the listeners what this model is. It takes some of the pain and uncertainty out of it.
Yeah, so we use a subscription-based model, so our clients pay us a flat monthly fee, sort of based on their size and needs. And so first and foremost, that allows us to act as an advisor to them. It's not just, hey, here's a contract. It's where's your business, where are you trying to take it, what are the issues we need to worry about. And that way we can be proactive with them. We know what they're planning to do, trying to bring on employees, and we know here's a list of issues people always run into. We can put a process in place to avoid that. So it helps be proactive. I think helps them be more efficient. And I think something we talked about last week, that's how big businesses use lawyers as a strategic advisor. No reason a small business shouldn't be able to access similar services.
So as a small business owner, which we have many, in fact, the backbone of our country is small business, is it ever too soon to get a lawyer advisor?
Well, I'm biased.
That was the loaded question, right?
That's called teeing it up. Boom, there you go. Okay.
No. No, I think it's about the time that you're looking to formally establish your business and you start thinking about, are you going to be an LLC, or are you going to be a corporation? What is an LLC or a corporation? That might be a good time to at least start having a conversation, because I really think of that as setting up your foundation. And if you get that wrong, you know, it could come back to bite you way down the road. So, yeah, usually around the time you're going to formally pull the trigger is a good time to start having
So
a
as
conversation.
a legal firm, you also have to do the marketing side of it. You have to let people
Yeah.
know that you're out there. Talk about, from as a business owner, juggling the two, doing the legal side, but also you have to do the part of promoting the business.
Yeah, so they forget in law school to teach you that there's a business aspect to being a lawyer.
You know, it's funny
Shocking.
because it's the same thing with medical school. I asked those guys, when they teach you about the insurance? They say never.
Never.
Well, when do you learn that? When we're done. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
And so then it becomes like really helpful to have relationships and partnerships with chambers and organizations that can help you leverage your business. We were talking before we went live on air about partnerships and what makes a good partner. So the chamber feels like we're a really good partner for business of all size, because we can help companies like Launch get their messaging out there, because John is an expert in the legal world and he knows how to help businesses in that realm, and we help market their messaging and get it out there. So we have opportunities. You've heard me talk on the show about, you know, our opportunities to spread the message and get them in front of their target audience. So we've been able to take our platform here and allow John with Launch an opportunity to help get his message in front of his target audience.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the best way that it works, partnerships.
And I think something like this, something like I'm doing with the chamber, and a lot of what you do, extremely beneficial for a small business owner, right? I could never reach this amount of people on
Yeah,
my
so you got to
own,
get the
or I wouldn't.
disclaimer. This is not legal advice.
Yeah.
This is only
Yeah.
information.
Right.
Well, you know, one of the great parts about having a radio show is you get to talk to experts. So there are people out there who they are these tarot card readers. Yes, why would I ask that? You hear them going on forever and ever, and then they say, this is just for promotional purposes only, so don't come after me. Does that get you off the hook? Possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Really?
Depends on the situation, but
So I
disclaimers
can
go
say
a
what,
long way.
oh, they can.
You can't say whatever you want. I know that's where you were going, right?
Right, okay, not
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
but a lot of things. That disclaimer gets me off the hook.
Get you off the hook for some things.
Okay.
You got to watch who you're talking about and what you're saying. But
Do attorneys still do the 15-minute or 1 hour consult for free? Is that still a thing?
I think it depends on the attorney. So I do
Yeah.
a free half-hour consultation. I mean, why not? In my opinion, I think it opens the door for me to just talk to people. Obviously, everyone's not a fit. I might be a fit for them, but I don't see any reason to charge people.
Well, and we talked about, you know, your business is remote, so that allows you to get access to clients where they are.
Yeah.
With your business model being remote. So, you know, the day of walking in and sitting down in the attorney office is not
Yeah.
necessarily
Hanging a shingle out
Right.
on Main Street.
So,
Yeah.
and it does keep you a little bit more accessible too.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I think one of the things I found is that business owners actually appreciate the virtual aspect of it because they're busy. So it's simple as Zoom or even just a conference call, and they don't have to worry about setting aside time, going to somebody's office, that type of thing.
What did you learn coming out of the pandemic from the legal standpoint? That I know I talked to some others that said all the things that we used to worry about before, getting everyone in the room, Zoom really took care of that.
Yeah. A lot of what I learned, I think, was more business than legal specific. One, I think, you know, a lot of businesses like to talk about how they're adaptable and things like that. I think that was a harsh reality that no one is as adaptable as they think they are.
Right.
I mean, that
That
changed
is
things
true.
like we never could have expected. And some companies who thought they could handle remote work and things like that just absolutely couldn't get things in order for that. And, you know, that's a difficult situation to be in and to navigate.
Here we go. Mike King, John Rabel,
We've
Danielle-
got people watching.
Danielle Fitzhugh, Carter Green, thank you for watching. Alrighty, so before we came on, running a business is not that good by flying by the seat of your pants, shooting from the hip. any of those things like that, you need to have some policies in place. And before we came on, we talked about employee handbooks and stuff like that, and things that are happening in business that business owners really need to take a look at. Let's talk about a couple of things that you see on a regular basis. People show up at the doorstep, and you see this on a regular basis that people need to know right now.
In terms of company policies and things like that, yeah, I mean, a couple of things I hear questions about all the time. Vacation policy, what is it? You know, people are like, well, I've been doing this, but I want to have a defined one. How does that work? A lot of these things can be flexible. You just need to define it and then actually follow it. Lots of questions about something we were discussing earlier, overtime and exempt versus non-exempt employees.
And people get them in. I mean, companies get themselves in trouble with that exempt versus non-exempt.
Yeah.
And not paying the overtime, especially if somebody comes in and audits them.
Yeah, exactly. One of the big things we were talking about, just because someone's on salary doesn't mean they're exempt from overtime. And that's sometimes tricky.
Really?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times business people think that you're on salary. That means the clock, is always running.
Yeah.
10 at night, Saturday afternoon.
Exactly. And that's the move they pull, right? Well, I'll put this person on salary and I can just work them as much as I want. But
yeah, there's some
dangerous.
qualifiers around there. And then there was another one, correct me if I get this wrong, but if you have drivers or workers that, if they are eating their lunch while they're, parked, if they're delivery drivers or, cleaners or anything like that, they're not off, they're in between drop-offs.
Yeah.
You still have to pay that.
Yeah.
You still have to pay that. So, I can remember talking to a business who had drivers that were not off the clock, eating their lunch, but you got to go back and
docking the pay.
You got to go back and pay that time. You can't check emails. You can't take work phone calls. I mean, all that. Especially if you're not exempt, all that time counts.
Yeah.
All that time counts. So, our team, I'm like, please don't sit in your car and check emails if you're at the game.
Exactly. So that's a great point. This is more of a problem now than ever with technology. You're never away from from email, text,
my phone
whatever.
is a computer. It's got more storage space than my laptop.
Yes. Right. So you can't get away from it. So if you've got employees, weekend, they're checking things, that's time on the clock. So something to be aware of.
That's culture. That's also legal, because it may say one thing legally, you should not do this. But the person feels like, I just got an email from my boss on Saturday.
Can't ignore this.
Exactly. And they don't understand.
But the onerous is also on to the supervisor too, right? Like, I tell my staff when they take off and go on vacation or whatever, I'm like, don't make me turn your email off. If I find you checking your email and you're responding to stuff, I will go in and turn your email
that's
off.
culture. That's culture at the top.
You deserve to have that time away from work. You should not feel that you have to check your email.
Yeah, I agree. And a great point. It's ultimately going to be the
owner's
problem. Yeah, exactly. If an employee is checking their email, even if the owner told him not to, it's still going to ultimately be your fault at the end of the day.
That's
as
right.
a business owner. The employee is not going to get in trouble for that. So yeah,
he was trying to win the employee. He was trying to be a good employee.
Yeah.
And that's what good employees do. They don't know. So,
I did have my staff tell me that when I went on vacation, like, you can't check your email either. I was like, but I'm exempt. So
yeah, right.
I was like, unfortunately.
I am exempt.
And that is a designation. So explain to people once again, they understand. When you were here before, you talked about in-house counsel. And for small businesses, that's what your plan, that's what your model is. Because we need help, but we don't need help. And every time we got a call and hear the meter's running.
Yeah, exactly. So sort of one way to think about it is like outside general counsel services for small business. Our clients get unlimited counseling and advising as part of their services, which I think is how small businesses should use a lawyer as an advisor first. Contracts and all that stuff can get put in place as needed based on what they're trying to do. So yeah, call before you get in trouble.
There you go. And how can people find information out about Launch?
Easiest way is to check out the website, which is launchstrategylegal.com. I know it's a little long, but
you can also find them at chesterfieldchamber.com and our business directory.
Explain what the Chesterfield Chamber has done for you. Then I'm not going to get started again because next thing you know, I'm going to get carried away. Explain the meaning of the chamber for you and your organization.
So I think it's a couple things for me. One, it's a great resource for one of the things we were talking about. You know, I own a business. I've got to market it. I just can't wait for my phone to ring. So I understand how to be a lawyer. There's lots of aspects to businesses that I barely understand and need more help with. Things like marketing, how to access other professionals who can help me with my business. So the chamber to me is a great network to get the resources and meet some connections that can, help me in areas that I'm weak. And also, it's a great way for me to find resources who could help my clients. So I think it's beneficial for me to be a resource to them and find other professionals, other business owners who could help them as well.
When you first went in and you went to your first luncheon, how was that? Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah.
Intimidating.
Exactly. You walk in, it's a big room and a
wow.
bunch of people, and everyone's running around crazy.
I'd heard about how they went, but it's hard to really wrap your head around it until you see it in person. So, yeah, I mean, what a great event. Great turnouts all the time. So,
and then you become one of the people. But now you're one of the ones inside doing that, and the next person comes and says, wow. You find a home at the chamber.
Yeah.
You do.
And I don't know this story, so it might be a totally loaded question because I don't know the answer to it. How did you get to the chamber?
That is a good question. I'm trying to remember. It's someone I was meeting with who was a chamber member and just couldn't have better things to say about it, and so invited
and
me.
that's not unusual. I was wondering what the story
Yeah.
was, but I'm like, that's not an unusual question. So we are really high referral base, and so we talk to people, often and try to, educate our members that this is their membership. It is their responsibility to help grow it and refer people to us that they feel would make good members to branch out their network. So similar, if you can help your clients by building partners and making referrals, we try to do the same thing at the chamber.
When you have, just like, and everyone's story's the same. When I join the chamber, 15 minutes later, YB's calling, or Lynn is calling, or, Peter, anybody you're looking up and saying, as soon as I became a part of the chamber, next thing you know, you became part of the chamber. And the chamber can't do what you do with just the staff that you have.
No,
that's not your sales force. Your sales force.
Yeah, we put a picture of all the new members on a screen at our luncheon, and I see people take pictures of that screen. But one, they do use it as a follow-up, right? So we're very relationship building. So they do use it as an opportunity to call, welcome them to the chamber, and then build the relationship. So if there is an opportunity to work together, they've already been welcomed and connected. So I do see people using it that way. And what a warm thank you. You've joined the chamber, and gosh, some strange member called me up and said, congratulations, thank you for joining the chamber. How can I help?
You have some excellent speakers at your events.
We think so.
You do.
We think so.
We got to give a shout out to our partner, Dr. Danny is watching.
Hey, Dr. Danny.
Dr. Danny is always,
she killed it at our women's luncheon. She killed it. Killed it.
And that's what happens all along the way. You go to whether it's Kaisha's event, you see Peter Larson. He is just a master networker. People are out there. The chamber changes the course of people's business life.
And they're helping each other. I heard a story of someone who saw a picture of two members on social media and said, hey, one member was helping another member with their kid. So another member, a third member said, hey, can you help me with my kid? And because they knew the other one. So you just don't know how that trickle effect works. And when you need a lawyer, you need a lawyer. But wouldn't it be great to already have a relationship?
A lawyer. And
wouldn't it be great to already have a relationship?
And it's the one where it's broken down, the barrier of being scared to contact you, that I got to put on a Sunday suit to come down and see the attorney because my booty, I'm just in hot water. But now if I talk to you before, and I know you from the chamber events, I see you, and it's like, okay, well, let me give John a call, and he can steer me before things go sideways.
Yeah.
That is the business model. One last time, how can people find Launch out there?
Easiest way, I think, is the website. It's launchstrategylegal.com. Information on there about the services we offer and sort of how we work, so that's a good place to start.
Danielle, what's new and exciting at the the legislative
Breakfast is coming up on Friday. And I had some people ask me, so I should give a disclaimer, right? So someone asked me, well, how come there are only Republican candidates speaking? That was the question I got. And I said, well, that cover Chesterfield, those are the two races that have primaries. Now, for the general election, we will have party candidates. We'll do another breakfast. You'll get to hear from them. But for the June primaries, we have two contested Republican races for the House and the Senate. And then the county Commonwealth Attorney's Office is contested race in the primary too. So that is why I'll answer that question for any listeners who might think, one way or the other. This is a primary breakfast, so we have primary candidates speaking.
And you always say elections have consequences.
That's right. Well, you want to hear from everybody, and we'll do all the candidates that are on the ballot in closer to November and talk to them as well.
But it shows you that people are watching and looking at the chamber for something like that. That ain't the sexiest thing in the world.
Well, and I also will say, I will also say some of those candidates that don't have primaries, who are running in November, they're already registered to come to the lunch on Friday. They've already started getting their messaging out there. So it's just the speakers. We have a keynote speaker, Chip Dix, who's a former House delegate in Virginia. He's an attorney with Gentry Law. He'll be there, but speaking as a former House delegate. But the audience, we've got 100 people coming, Spring Hill Suites in Chester. And
shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out
to my man Ravi Patel, award-winning.
Yeah, that's
Ravi
right. That's
Patel.
true. That's true. And it's an opportunity to hear firsthand, right? And to, they might be at your table. Ask the questions that are important to you. Let them talk to you. You don't want to necessarily just see them give their talking points. You want to have that general conversation with them to really get what's passionate to you, because what's passionate to you might not be what's passionate to me.
The Chesterfield Chamber events where all the political folks show up. They do.
And then we have Lori Warren next week.
Shout out to Lori Warren.
At the Women's Business Luncheon.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be a book. I go to everything.
Mike goes to everything.
I got to be there. Big business is happening.
That is true.
That's what you do. All righty, Counselor, parting words for our listeners. Something that they need to make sure that they're doing right now.
I'd say make sure that your company structure, LLC, corporation, is properly set up and paperworked, so you've got a good foundation, easy place to get started looking at things.
Never too soon to get a lawyer.
We should talk about that next week. We should talk about company structures next week.
Yeah. That is true. Because people don't know. People really don't know.
I have to always, when I'm filling out forms, go back and look what we are. I just always double check, because you got, limited liability partnership, so you just...
definitely. We got to go over those.
Maybe we can talk about that next week.
All right, tune in next week on the Mic with Mike. We got launch the strategy. Launch strategy.
Legal. Launch strategy legal.
John is here with us. Danielle Fitzhugh. How can people find you out there?
ChesterfieldChamber.com or Chesterfield Chamber VA.
There you go. On the Mic with Mike.
Yeah, Mike King isn't a businessman. He's a businessman with his own talk show. On the Mic with Mike is the best business radio program in the game.
Oh, yeah, I got to give a shout out to my good friends over Vintage Boxing. They have a boxing match coming up this Friday. It is WBC sanctioned, so they're really doing some cool things. So, in honor of that and being from Philly, what can I say?
Hey, yo, Richmond, it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit, but keep moving forward. This is the Italian Stallion. Say the one and leave Philly and come to RVA. I always check out my man, Mike King Biz, on ESPN, 5-7 a.m. The champ of business talk radio. Emp, the man.
All right, we got to run. Louis Westbrook over there, my good friends at Bryan and Stratton. Hey, members of good friends of the chamber.
Yes.
Shout out to all the folks over there at Bryan and Stratton. That is Chesterfield's premier institution of higher learning. That's who they are.
They are.
That's what they do. All right. John, I'd like to thank you for coming on the program. Danielle, it's always a pleasure. On the mic with Mike, we got to go because I always say the microphone ain't free. Plus, my grandkids need stuff.
My name is Isabella, and you're listening to My King Biz. Hubby, that's my scam.
All right, folks, we got to go. Take care now.